Hi everyone, Ash Toure here from Toure's Hope and Ash Toure Vlogs. Today's live session 3 p.m. as promised. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about two really powerful and emotive words, which are mental health and Bollywood. We all know that there's been a lot in the media recently in terms of where we are. Hi Ravinda. We are going to be looking at some of the issues that concern us as a whole. Yes, Bollywood has a lot of things that are going on at the moment, and I want to make it clear that we're talking about a system as a whole. We're not talking about anybody in particular or getting involved in any of the politics that is ongoing at the moment. So this is an open discussion about mental health within the Bollywood industry and how that can affect people that are of a certain status. And in the last couple of lives that I've done, we've addressed mental health in the South Asian community. So today I'm absolutely thrilled, excited, honoured, loads of mixed emotions to have Nindy Kaur, who, oh my god, like, where do I start? Most of you probably know of her, and whether it's through her music, whether it's through her Bollywood singing career, whether it's through Manj Music, the wife of Manj, her, oh my god, her being an entrepreneur, her cosmetics range, the list is just endless. And as I've said in one of my feeds, that, you know, as well as being all these things, I'm absolutely honoured and lucky to have her as my sister-in-law. She's married to Manj Music, who is my cousin, and they have just been amazing supporters of Toure's Hope since I've joined. So, you know, it's just been a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of trying to get Toure's Hope, the cause and the mission out there. So Nindy's going to be joining us shortly, so, you know, hang in there. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join in, and we can, you know, start our discussion around Bollywood and mental health. If you guys have any questions during our live sessions, do ask them, and I will try to go through as many as I can as possible. As you can imagine, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of discussion around, you know, where we're at and what we can do to make things in our communities, as well as the Bollywood industry, a better and safer place for people, because it's just an ongoing saga of, unfortunately, losing so many young lives to, you know, mental health, or not being stable, or, you know, being in a place where you're feeling alone. And, you know, one of my missions with starting to Raise Hope is to ensure that nobody ever feels that they're alone. So obviously we're missing something somewhere, so we really need to come together, whether we're a celebrity or not. You know, I think mental health is something that just affects everybody in such different ways. Hi guys, hi Sneha, Nikki, Kojit, Madassa, thank you all for joining. We're just, as I said, just waiting for a few more people, and then we'll introduce Nindy into our conversation. Again, mental health, where are you at with your mental health as well? You know, this is a reflection, this is a space to start thinking about our own mental health, where we're at with our mental health as well, because it does not discriminate. You know, looking at the current climate we're in, you know, COVID, it doesn't discriminate. Mental health, COVID, you know, whether we're rich, poor, wherever we are, it affects us all. Ooh, excited, Nindy Kaur is in the house, woo woo. Right, so let us ask Nindy, and Suspense. Dun, dun, dun. Right, let's hope that our connections and our volumes and everything are okay. Hey!
Hello, Kadash.
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Nindy?
I'm good.
I was
You,
I was introducing you and saying we have
oh,
like a list of things of Nindy Kaur, entrepreneur, wife, my
oh,
friend, my sister-in-law, musician,
yeah.
Bollywood music, like the list
Yeah,
goes
you were
on.
picking me up. Oh, girl
um,
power.
how have you been?
I'm good. You've got me out of bed really early
Oh,
on a Sunday morning.
so, oh yeah, for everybody, Nindy is currently in Canada at the moment. You're
Yeah,
you're all over the place. I can't keep up.
I know. Hey, you know what? It's funny because that's the first thing anybody who messages me say. The first thing they ask is, "Where are you?" I'm like, let me think. Yeah, but no, it's been nice. We're back in Toronto and the weather's gorgeous and the sea and was just outside. So yeah, everything's good.
Ah,
How about
lovely,
you?
lovely. I'm good, thank you. Just yeah, just excited about having this conversation. I was just saying it's such two powerful words, mental health and Bollywood.
Yeah,
So really excited to just discover, on a professional as well as personal level, because again, I think a lot of people that watch Bollywood or see certain
mhm,
things on the media, they kind of don't see what happens behind the scenes. And for me, you've educated me a lot
yeah.
about, things that do happen behind the scenes and what's been on the media as well. And it's quite scary.
It is. It's very scary. I think the saddest thing that's lately happened is, Sushant. I need to say his name probably. Sushant
Yeah,
Singh Rajput. It's extremely sad. There must have been a lot of pressure there, a lot of letdown, and a lot of people, a lot of these newcomers that come into Bollywood and they're working extremely hard go through this on a daily basis. And it's such a shame because we need to really recognize talent. And I think the public,
yeah,
obviously, because the public's gone crazy on this subject, the public
yes.
recognizes the talent that that person has. But I think behind the scenes, there's a lot more to just the public supporting. I think there's a lot of deeper, deeper issues, deeper things going on behind the scenes, which a lot of
Yeah.
people are being exposed to now, which is a very good thing.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about us talking, isn't it? And
Yeah.
like I said, I feel that people that do have this celebrity status
Mhm.
should be talking more. And I think it's so wonderful that, you've taken the time to actually come out and speak about a subject that, like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you heard, like it doesn't discriminate whether you're rich, poor,
Yeah.
where you come from, what country you're from, what race you are, what religion you are. So yeah, I think we're getting there. We're taking steps, and I think this is wonderful. Um,
I
so
think
I'm going to.
the
Sorry.
internet, sorry, and social media play a very big part. There's a lot of pros and cons, but I
Yeah.
think we are now a lot more aware of what is going on behind the scenes, thanks to internet, thanks to social media, because we everybody's got a voice now.
Yes. Most definitely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question in
Mhm.
terms of mental health.
Mhm.
In a lot of my lives, we've kind of looked at the official definition of what mental health is, and we've all got mental health. But when we say mental health, in terms of what does it mean to you, and of your experience being within, the Bollywood industry and knowing people with that celebrity status as well as yourself, how would you define it in your own words and your world?
I think in my world and my personal experience, I think I've been extremely lucky because in the beginning, starting off, I've always had Manj, who's my husband, who's in the industry, who's working. Then I had Kuli and Serge behind me. So I had my two brother-in-laws plus my husband. So they were kind of my heroes. They were, on the front line and
Hmm.
protection, and I was behind them. So as we all know, a lot of females that come into the industry, especially who don't have a filmy background, go
Yeah.
through. They go through a lot. And, the same happens in Hollywood, as we've been
Yeah.
hearing. Um, so I think that my personal experience, I've been extremely lucky because they are my voice. They've been on the front line, so they've protected me. And
Yeah.
as I've gone along as well, I think it's embedded in everybody that we can't directly get to her. We have
Right.
these guys, and unfortunately, with the passing of Cully and Manj and Serge going their own ways, I
Yeah.
still have my husband and I have my son now. So I
Yeah.
have super lucky. However, I do know lots of, I would say, females and friends or friends we've become with who have come into Bollywood or trying to struggle to get to a certain position or to do what they really want to do. And
Yeah.
they're struggling. They're really struggling. And they're being asked to do things that they would never dream of doing. So
Yeah.
this is a huge issue. And again, I want to emphasize that it's not Bollywood, it's in Hollywood too. So,
Yeah.
West is pretty much, it's the same. But again, however, with me, I've just been lucky. Without them, I don't know what position I would have ever been in.
Okay. And that's really interesting because that brings it back to, like, it being a male dominated industry. And like you said, if you didn't have kind of, the right, left, and Kuli and Manj and Serge kind of there, it could have been a different story, I guess. And that's quite scary, thinking that there's still, you know what it's like in India when we talk about India and Bollywood. Oh my God, it's huge. And there's women that want to get into the industry, like you said, we've seen that, they've often been asked, to compromise their dignity and, do things that they normally wouldn't.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, do you think that's because of the power, or do you think it's more of the male-dominated society, or a bit of both?
I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. I think one thing I have seen in the industry is money is power. So if
Right.
you've got, and you feel that, you can do absolutely anything.
Hmm.
What I'm loving about this whole situation, obviously, it's very unfortunate that people have to take their lives. It shouldn't be an option.
Yeah.
But obviously, they've been driven to a point where they just can't deal with, they can't handle it anymore. And it's such a shame that it gets to that point. But I think the more that we all talk about it, the more it becomes open and it's out there.
Mm.
People they're gonna think twice before even asking for such advances.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it is about naming and shaming, isn't it? Unfortunately, in the society we're in, like you said, if we don't talk about it and, if we don't name and shame, then it's going to unfortunately still carry on.
Like, I'll give you an example lately, and I don't know, maybe people in the industry, especially the Punjabi industry, may not like the fact that I'm doing this, but it's like um, Dilpreet Dhillon, a singer from
Mhm.
Punjab, and
Yes.
his wife, the situation that's come out. A lot
Yeah.
of people are. I feel so sorry for the poor girl because she's come out. She said exactly what's happened. You can tell she's completely genuine because she said what she had to say, and she is genuine and she has
Yeah.
proof. She has proof out, and I do not understand because especially in our culture, they're saying ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਉਹ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ so
Hmm.
just she didn't speak out ਘਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ then ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੀ ਰਫਾ ਦਫਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਣੀ ਸੀ and she would
Yeah.
have continuously kept taking the abuse so
Yes.
how
Absolutely.
I'm sorry but the ਘਰ they probably say you know what let's not talk about it ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਢਣੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ this that and the other and then what for another 30 years of her life 40 years of her life she's going to be abused
Yeah. Absolutely, and like you said, this is one of the things. You know, and that's the same with it, be it domestic violence, be it abuse, be it mental health. What will other people think? And that again, you know, it leads me on to I was going to ask you about why do you think it's such a taboo subject? And you know, mental health, domestic violence. You know, it's still like you said, you know, nay, nay, gunny, gunny, like, you know, let's not talk about it. Let's not go and get help. Why do you think it's still such a taboo subject?
I think it's just it's basically it's old fashioned. Back in the days, it was like je ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਆਪਾਂ ਅੰਦਰ sort it out. But you know
Yeah,
what is it never gets out. When you keep it all in the house, everybody thinks about their reputation. Everybody thinks about, again, like you said, Loki, you can like, who cares what Loki are going to say? Because you know what, there's a person here suffering. So are
yeah,
we all going to say to this person, "Tu chop kar ja, listen, just deal with
yeah,
it. It doesn't matter because we don't want to look bad, or we
yeah,
don't want that story to be out there." But you know what? These girls, they really do need to speak out because
yeah.
it shouldn't be happening in the first place. Why should they suffer in silence? It shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, yeah. And I was actually watching an interview that a model done. I forget his surname now. He goes by the name of Sahil, and his struggle within the modeling industry. He came to Mumbai, I should say, to be a model, and you know he experienced a lot of kind of advances from major top Bollywood designers.
Mm.
And, you know, as well as it being an issue for females, I think a lot more males are now coming out, like you said, about, you know, women, we're a little bit more better about talking about our feelings, and men aren't. And then, you know, unfortunately, we get situations like we did with Sushant, unfortunately. So again, it's about our male community, you know, our men coming up and being able to say, actually, I'm not okay. I'm not feeling okay.
You know what? That's a good point, but I feel also females are very afraid of coming out with it. It just seems like, again, it comes back to our culture. So
Mm,
people think, especially within our culture, they think that depression means or mental health means you're weak.
yeah,
We tend to not show that weakness as they would look at it, but it's not being weak. It's actually, saying I think I might need some help here. And I think
yeah,
that Sushant had come out with it before, maybe publicly, then everybody, the way God bless his soul, he's in heaven, the way they're all behind him, he's here to see that everybody, the world is behind me.
yeah.
These full of people that he's being bullied by don't stand a chance against the
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think culturally as well, like you said, in terms of he's gone now, and then all these people jump on the bandwagon. But actually, what are we doing for our loved ones, our friends, you know, people that are in the industry? What are we doing to empower them? You know, not much.
No, to be honest, we tend to ignore them or run away. We think, oh, you know what, this person's down all the time. Don't really want to get involved in that. So
Yeah.
we're not looking at and helping. And I think the other thing that's made things a lot worse, especially recently, is the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was not easy for Sharp between his four walls. And, I've been reading on newspapers and stuff around the world, a lot of people committing suicide. And,
Mm,
these people have not openly talked about their mental health and that they're going through depression. And I think it's really important, especially at this time, for these people not to be alone. Like,
yeah.
he can't come home with his family. Maybe they could have helped. So I think
Yeah.
that people who are going through depression at this time, the best thing is for them to be in between their loved ones so they can help. And I think that's sometimes because now, Ash, I have personally been through depression myself. And,
Okay.
and when I went through depression, I do know I didn't want to burden anybody with my issues. So if anybody was dealing, it was Manj and Anoop who were dealing with what I was going through. I was not reaching out. Like my best friend Suki, she didn't know for the longest, and she was so upset when she
Mm.
found. Like, didn't you reach out right away? Again, my thing, and a lot of people probably do think when you are going through depression, well, I don't want to burden someone else with this. And
Yeah.
what happens is the more you keep it inside, the more it just builds. When you can't get rid of feelings, anxiety, everything, you do have those thoughts of, do you know what? I just want to end this. I don't want this feeling anymore. I just want to end this.
Mm.
But and you know what? When I had those feelings of, I just want to end my life because I can't deal with the anxiety. I can't deal with feeling like this constantly, waking up first thing in the morning. Like there was times actually where I would wake up in the morning thinking, "Oh my God, am I still alive?"
Wow. Mm.
So I actually sat man down and said, "Listen, I'm scared. This is how I'm
Mm.
feeling." And you do need that support. You cannot do it without that love and support, your
Yeah.
family and close people around. So it is extremely important that we reach out to people we know are going to be there for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's really brave of you to share. First of all, thank you for sharing that, because I think that will resonate with a lot of people. And again, I can relate in terms of depression and anxiety. So again, thank you for sharing that. And do you think the build up to it, could there have been anything that anybody could have done or supported you with to the build up? Or do you think it was something that just happened quite, unexpectedly?
Uh, it was happening and I didn't know because I didn't know what depression felt like because, I mean, yeah, you can read about it, but sometimes you do kind of think, no, I'm strong. It's not going to happen to me.
It's a
And
bad day, or it's not going to happen to me.
exactly. And I was definitely in that frame of mind because what had happened was um, we had basically, Kuli had become sick with cancer. Um,
Yeah.
so, Ange obviously he does not want to lose his brother, so he's going to go to any extreme whatsoever to try and save his brother. Then I had my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, they're going to lose their child. What must they be going through? It must be so hard. Like, no parent wants their child to go before them. So
Of course.
I think I forgot about and I completely disregarded how I would feel through everything. Um,
Right.
Focused on everybody else but myself. And then we obviously lost Cully. And I didn't realize when I fell into depression. I think I really didn't realize. And on top of that, my own parents as well. Again, they're very old fashioned. So to them, it's, listen, you need to look after your in-laws, you need to look after your husband, you need to look after your children, you need to do these things, and that's it. But nobody said to me, you need to look after yourself as well at this time. So I don't know what happened where, but it just flipped, and I couldn't understand why I was feeling so down, so low, so drained. And
Yeah.
I think around me couldn't understand that because I've always portrayed this very strong personality.
Yeah.
I think everybody was like, is she going cuckoo? Like, what the hell? Like, what's wrong with her? So if I
Yeah.
come a little bit like, what the hell's wrong with her?
Right.
And understood the severity of what I was going through. So
Mm.
I think then Manj realized because he's living with me 24/7. I think he then realized because I started becoming very emotional, and that's not me. I was
Right.
crying,
Okay.
and then he just realized that this is something really bad here. And
Mm.
around me, the only support I had was everybody else who should have been there for me, including my parents. Because when Manj did tell my parents that, oh, Nindy's going through depression, because we because yeah, she's definitely going through depression. Um,
Yeah.
and I've given all the depression pills and everything to cope and to help. And my parents said, depression, Kia, depression.
I was going to say, how did your parents react? Because to this day, there's not a word for depression.
It's like कोई कोई ऐदा दी depression कोई कुछ नहीं हैगा तू ठीक हो
Yeah.
and you know what you need to look after your husband your son and your in-laws you need to you again I'm back on that oh my god I need to look after everybody else but
Mm.
myself so I
Yeah.
think it drove me cuckoo and I didn't
Mm.
know how to look after myself it's taken me years actually it's like we're talking about 7 8 years later I am
Yeah.
finally learning to look after myself now it was
Okay.
hard
So self-care is what I'm hearing.
absolutely
And
absolutely
that is so evident in people that are very empathetic. They give, they give, they give, and then it comes to a point where you've forgotten about who you are because you're so busy taking care of other people. And it sounds like you were on a roller coaster of helping other people, and actually you kind of forgot about who's Nindy, like where am I? Where am I in this equation?
and you know what because I became a person I then tried to try कर लिया प्यार नाल to tell everybody that I don't think I'm in a good place. I don't think I'm in a good place. And nobody took me seriously. And then I
Okay.
started using aggressively telling, lashing out at
Right.
certain people who have hurt me and telling them that, you've hurt me like this, but they're just like, whoa, she's gone mad. Not
Right.
about the situation of how they really hurt me.
Okay. So what advice would you give to somebody that may be or have been in a similar situation? What do you think they can do or, kind of be to support themselves in terms of their self-care and self-love? What can they do?
See, if I could rewind my life today and,
Mhm.
with it all differently, the first thing a person should do is okay, when you're feeling very down and you're feeling low, you do need to surround yourself with people who understand it. They need to understand what you're going through because you do not want to hear you're not going through depression. What the hell is depression? That's the
Yeah.
last thing. Oh, you're strong enough, you can snap out of it. No, those are things you really don't need to hear. So you need to speak to, and you know who's close in your life. You need to openly speak to people, and you need to tell them, the loved ones, the close ones, that this is exactly how I'm feeling, and I think I need help.
Okay.
And these loved ones will drop everything around them to help make you better. And you do need to talk. And it is very important that you don't think that I can deal with this myself. I can get over this and everything. You just need to talk. It needs to come out of here. I think that once
Mm.
it comes out of here, you're a lot lighter. And you
Yeah.
do need to, I don't know, it'd be up to the individual. I personally find with myself, I had to cut these people out of my life. It could be relations which are very close and you're scared to cut these people out of your life, but you really need to because when you've been in very deep depression, that one little trigger of somebody who you know is going to say something negative, bring everything back. It can come gushing back. So you do need to
Absolutely.
completely detach yourself from these people who are going to whether you call it bring you down or try and lowball what you're going through, you need to keep away
Yeah.
from them.
Yeah. And I saw one of your statuses as well yesterday in terms of being able to say no. And I'm a big advocate of that, in terms of people are very scared to say the word no. And, when I coach people, a lot of that comes up in terms of, oh no, but we can't say no. So in terms of advice for that, you can say no without actually using the word. Change your phrases, change your language. And like you said, there is nothing wrong with cutting out people that are bringing you negativity because it does affect you emotionally, it affects you physically, and it can be the difference between make or break in some cases. So I think that's really important. But when we look at the Bollywood industry, then, in terms of cutting those people off, in terms of status, in terms of power, that's a tricky one. Have you ever faced any situation, without naming names or anything, have you ever faced a situation where you've had to kind of cut that off? Like you said, you know, family and friends is easier, but when you're in the limelight, when you're in that industry and you might be seeing that person quite often, what do you do?
Do you know what? That's a very tricky question. Again, it's, okay, even like, we're talking about Bollywood or Hollywood, even in your
Mhm.
workplace times,
Yeah.
some
Mm.
this doesn't come with everyone. Again, we were fortunate. It's who you know. You have a
Yeah.
relationship with who you know. So if you do know a certain A-lister, they could help you. Now, cutting yourself out of the industry, I think, again, Sushant has had this problem because he obviously he was working extremely hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, grafting. He was an amazing actor. Um, but I think that the issue that did happen here was it felt I can't cut people off, so I am going to be bullied, and
Yeah.
this really needs to be sorted out. I think everybody, again, in the industry, we've got these handful of bullies, and I think
Yeah.
the industry is huge. So everybody in the industry needs to come together to show these particular people that, hello, you can't bully us anymore because there's
Yeah.
this many. So it's not going to happen. But I think everybody's scared to do that because, again, they want to work with these people. But something like what's just happened,
Yeah.
I see a big change because the public is behind, a person like Sushant. They're behind.
Yes.
Needs to stop. So I think that this may help. Now, this situation may help a lot of the other celebrities who are struggling, who
Yeah.
a filmy family background or whatever, and they got themselves into Bollywood. I think it might help these guys to raise their voice. Now, I think
Yeah.
it's a lot more. Then these bullies are going to think twice before they make these moves that they've been very comfortable making.
Yeah, yeah. And definitely in terms of India, what I've experienced is that, you know, people don't like talking about these subjects. People don't like talking about, you know, mental health. People don't like talking about, you know, issues that there may be within families and going and getting therapy. You know, therapy is such an important part of a recovery process, you know, when you are experiencing depression or any kind of mental health, if you're at that point. Um, but I wonder if, you know, there is anything like that. Do you know of anything like that in the Bollywood industry that people can, you know, openly go to a therapist or get some support?
You know what? I really don't. And I think that, let's just say that if they are going to therapy, it's very hush hush. I think that they're probably going abroad for therapy, to
Right.
somebody who probably doesn't know them at all. Because one of the issues, again, in India, in our culture is, nothing's confidential.
Right.
Say, for instance, a really stupid example, just for Botox and fillers, nobody's going locally. They're flying
Right.
to go and see a doctor who probably doesn't know them at all. So, I think it's just a complete taboo in the country, and we need to start talking, and we do need to be open, and especially a celebrity. If they said, I'm going through depression, I need to see a therapist, and I've gone to see, I have a therapist that I'm going, I think a lot more people would be very open to do that and
Yeah.
would eliminate most of this issue that is going on. We shouldn't, people should not be taking their lives. Life is too precious.
Absolutely. You know, just like we say, oh, I've got to go to the doctor or I've got to go and have surgery, you know, prevention is better, you know, than just going out and being at that certain point where you can't handle things anymore. So you're I couldn't agree with you more. I don't kind of understand why therapy or counseling is such a big taboo within our community because, you know, again, you know, people will say, oh, pagal ho gaya, yeah, you know, that's it. They're going to put you in a room and, you know, restrain you and that's it. Right. You know, so it's got to, there's got to be some kind of filter. And like you said, with the media, they play such a big part. So, you know, instead of putting all this nonsense that we see at times, you know, I know that the Fair and Lovely, there's been a big campaign to kind of stop, you know, and not use that Fair and Lovely caption, and around skin color, you know, if you're dark skinned, you're not beautiful, the fairer you are, you know, and all that kind of business. If the media filtered all their energy into actually some positive messages about mental health, about getting help, about therapy, then maybe we'd be able to spread this around a bit more. But I think it's such a shame that, you know, as a female as well, being in the industry, like, you don't know of anybody that, you know, may be getting that support, or know of an organization that as a celebrity you can knock on the door and get that support.
Yeah, I mean, the max you ever hear is, oh, you know, Deepika went through depression. Okay, Deepika, so what did you do about it? Who did you go to? It would be nice to hear that. So, because you
Yeah,
know what, people look at these people like icons. And so if she would say, you know what, I did go for therapy and I went to this doctor and he helped me, there's going to be a dime a dozen people going to this and saying, you know what, this person, this doctor or this, you know, life coach or help Deepika, I myself, I need to go there.
absolutely agreed. And you know, me myself, there's been a lot of celebrities that I was following that I'm not anymore, because I just feel that, like you said, the statements that they're making, mental health is so important, it's an illness, blah blah blah, but actually after that statement, what are you doing? And you hit the nail on the head. If they advertise that therapist, that counselor, then maybe more people would be like, oh, okay. Because like yourself, you know, you probably know, if Nindy Kaur's done it, you know, it's okay. I should do it too, or I can go and out and do it too. Why not?
Yeah, she's normal. And you know what, Ash, another thing, it's just not the Bollywood celebrities. Nowadays, as you see, influencers are massive.
Yes, yes.
This crazy lifestyle of showing we have this car, this bag. There's better things to talk about. If you're an influencer, let's talk about depression. We don't have these massive influencers from India. They need to switch it up a bit. They need to say, listen, I've gone through this, or I know somebody who's gone through this, and these resources are available. But no,
Absolutely. And
looking pretty all day and, you know, showing how we're doing our makeup. Things need to change.
yeah, I mean, you touched upon influencers, and you know, that's something that I was going to ask you about as well. We have got so many influencers these days, and I'll be honest with you, my pet hate is when I see somebody in front of the camera and they're just pouting and they're just doing nothing. And you know, it does make me think, actually, you have got such a big audience, you've got so many people around you that look up to you, respect you. Why are you not showing that? Again, I advocate for you know, people that have skin conditions that, you know, are not represented in the media enough. Because I have a rare skin condition, I feel really passionate about kind of getting people that have disabilities, have skin disorders out there. But I feel that there's still that stereotype of how a woman, a man should look and be to be accepted.
So sad.
So, yeah, so again, why do you think it is that we're still quite stuck in that stereotypical, you know, look and view of a person?
I just think glamour's taken over the world. I think glamour's taken over the majority of people's brains. It's all about looking perfect and pretty, you know, and it's just it's crazy because there are real issues out there that we all need to talk about. You know, for instance, with even Sushant, what were we looking at Sushant? Or we were looking at just his acting, and he's a great actor. He's this, he's that. But there were look what behind the scenes. Look what was really happening, and
Yeah,
it would have been so good if he had openly talked about this. He would have been here with us today, and he
yeah,
would have world support. We need to talk about real stuff. Yeah, you
yeah,
know, fancy pouting now and then, go ahead. But
absolutely.
be real. Let's talk about everyday stuff that is happening. Let's try and help one another. You
Yeah.
know. there's okay, there's influencers that, yeah, they're doing their thing, or whatever, and they're getting trolled, and then they're committing suicide because they can't take the bad comments. Why is the world even writing bad comments? If you do not like something of someone, just don't write anything.
Absolutely. Or don't follow them. Don't look at what they're doing.
Watching their stuff.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
had
that's so true.
somebody DM'd me, so I opened my new YouTube channel, and
Mhm.
somebody sent me a long DM. I was going to post it, but then I thought, you know what, I'm not even going to shame this person, because then it's not going to make me, it's going to make me the same as them. And
Yeah.
they said, hey, you've disabled your comments on your YouTube. Are you scared of hearing the truth? You know what? It's funny because when I used to have my old Nindy Kaur channel when I was with RDB and everything was going on, and I do comments anyway. That's one thing I just don't do. I am a bit of a sensitive person, so I don't like bad comments
Yeah.
and stop reading comments. But this time when Manj was, we were getting our channel together, I said to Manj, can you tell our, social media people that they've just, disabled the comments? And he's like, why? And I said, before it would have been for the fact of, I don't want to read silly comments. And yeah, you know what? There's not like a lot of bad comments. I just don't want to read them. I said,
Yeah.
it's not because of that. It's now because I'm an oops mom and my son is on social media. My son reads things. So people write pathetic, nasty, dirty things. And I don't want my son to read that about his mom.
Yeah.
But you know
Of
what?
course.
Don't think. They don't think the
Yeah.
kind of things they write. And I'm surprised, how are their mothers raising them? Do they not have sisters? The kind of things they write.
Yeah.
सोच के
Absolutely.
बैठे हो ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਫੀਮੇਲ ਨੂੰ ਲਿਖਦੇ ਹੋ if you don't like her ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੇਟ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੈ
Yeah. Don't look. Nah, they're cool. Like I said, delete them, block them. Just don't look. And I think that's such an important point. And I think people have forgotten how to be kind. What? Just because somebody's a celebrity, an influencer, it gives you the right to judge. It gives you the right to write a comment. No, it doesn't. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything. Like I said, I'm not a big, fan of people that just jump on the bandwagon and are kind of putting certain things in social media that enhance stereotypes that people are trying to kind of move away from. But I would never put anything nasty or anything like that on their social media, because at the end of the day, in their own right, they are doing what they feel is right for them. And who am I to say, no, actually what you're doing is wrong? Just because I don't like something doesn't mean that the next person doesn't. Everybody has the right to like or dislike what they do. However, when we put that opinion on somebody else and are doing it in such a nasty forum, there's just no need for that. And that does affect people's mental health. Again, I was reading a story about a 16-year-old TikTok a star that was quite an influencer, committed suicide, and 16. And again, people are saying, oh, she had all the followers in the world, she had all the people that really loved and respected her work, etc., etc. But what people are forgetting, there's something behind that, just like there is behind Sushant, just like there is behind Bollywood, just like there is behind you. Like there's some things that you've shared today that people wouldn't know. And it's so important. These nuggets are like gold, for people to actually feel I'm not alone. Whether, again, I'll say it again, whether you're rich, you're poor, it does not matter, because if we're not talking to whoever is around us, and if we don't have that positivity, we're at a place where, we're going to be so lost
do you know what one of
on how to go forward.
King
Sorry,
got
go on.
something good. He said easy to dislike but tough to motivate.
Sorry, say that again. I lost you for a minute.
Easy to dislike but tough to motivate. It's so true, that is. It's so easy.
So true.
That's a really good point, that is.
Yes, very, very true. And it's so easy for people to judge. And again, it's such a big
part of our mental health when people, like you said, will just, oh, you're not depressed, you're fine, you'll be okay, get on with it, because that's not what you want to hear. Let's be kind, let's listen. Sometimes just listening to somebody can really make that difference, and often people forget that.
Yeah, it is true.
We've got. I'm just gonna have a look. I know we've got like 15 minutes left, so I just want to see. I know we've had a lot of comments, so guys, I apologize if we don't get through all of them. It says here, but until it becomes accepted, even in the industry, that mental health is real. To many of these celebrities, they think that if they come out as saying I need help, it's suicide of their career. Good point, real good point. But again, if these conversations happen more and more, it won't be the end of their career. Actually, it will be probably the beginning, because they're going through this phase where they might be depressed, they might be contemplating suicide, and if they do talk about it, it will prolong their career and them. I mean, it has to be talked about. But I do understand where you're coming from, Dave. What else have we got here? Lots of people asking you, we want more songs.
So funny, because I was saying to Manj this morning, I said, this is a subject and a topic I really want to talk about, because Ash, me and you have spoken behind the scenes as well, and I
Yes.
really want people to know this side of me, because I had kept quiet for all these years. And, like you said, a lot of people probably wouldn't know. And I think it just really does help. And I am, well, as the song Manj said, I think your fans are going to be like, when's the next song coming? But you know what?
Yeah.
Engaging. And you know what, people going through this or know about somebody going through this. And one thing I am gonna say on a I'm not like an A-lister celebrity or whatever, but being in the public eye, what I've learned is, if people do bully you, let's say like Sushant was getting bullied by people in the industry, one thing I have personally learned is, when you do put it out there, the world, the public is a lot more behind you than these handful of bullies. I went through something in December. Something happened. I have certain members of family who dislike the way I am and what I do. So to do a lot of this.
Okay.
And all the time, I've always thought to myself, I don't want to go public with it. I want to go public with it because it's gonna not look good on me, and they'll start up, sorry, girl and everything. So anyway, 2 whole days, certain members of the family were bullying, writing things like, your family dislikes you, your sibling doesn't like you, this, that, the other, really hurtful stuff. Now, these same people bullied me within the family years ago before. And at the time, I was going through my depression and everything. They were really not behind me, even though I had been completely fine with them. So there was no issue between me and them. It's just that I chose to catch myself and not have anything to do with them, and they did not like that. Anyway, long story short, for 2 days, this bullying went on from different phone numbers. People could say you could have blocked them, but from different phone numbers. Carried on. Then they said something like, nobody's behind you. Your family's not behind all this. And I said, actually, the world's behind me. Yeah, right, whatever. So I screenshot, and I don't do this. I screenshot just a few couple of things they said on my story. All of a sudden, they went crazy. They wanted it to come down. They didn't want anybody to talk about it publicly. And my DM, Ash, it was so full, and there was nothing but people saying, "Hey, Nindy Bobby, who's writing these things to you?" And they're like, "Do you want us to help you?" I had I can't even explain, hundreds of DMs saying, "Who the hell is doing this to you? Why are they saying these things to you?"
Wow.
And back to Sushant, I wish he was so open with it, because everybody today who is behind it, they would have been behind him. And these bullies, it could have been stopped.
Yeah, definitely.
it is important sometimes. Say, "Kar di gal baar na kaddo." Sometimes that's the only way to stop
Yeah.
these.
Yeah, because again, it's that fear of other people knowing the truth, or actually, even if it isn't the truth, investigating, and then the truth will come out. And it's always the people that have kind of lied or are protecting some kind of dishonesty that don't want that to come out. In terms of when I was going through depression, I was lucky enough to have the support of my family. If it wasn't for, my mum, my parents, just my dad kind of just being there and being kind of like, it's okay for you to kind of not be that strong person. Like you said, you started getting very emotional in a certain way. That really resonates. So I think, again, it's all right. It's okay to not be all right. There's no big deal in that. And people need to start embracing and understanding that there are emotions and there are feelings that are going to really affect you. And if you are feeling that you will let somebody down in terms of your parents, in terms of your siblings, into whoever it might be, actually you're letting yourself down. And if you're not functioning properly, it's not going to serve anybody well. So you might be surprised at how willing your parents or your friends might be to accept that. And then if not, you know what, there's organizations, there's professionals out there that can help you, organizations that go on like 24 hours a day. Samaritans, I'm a big supporter of the Samaritans. They work all around the world, and if you need to pick up the phone to speak to somebody, speak to them. Break this taboo of not being able to speak to anybody, because there is always somebody. We've got a comment here for 99.99% of the population. They think if you have decent money and decent career, then why does one have depression? Very true. That's from Rix. You know what? That's one of the main reasons that myself and Nindy are on today, because again, people have this image that if you have money, if you have status, you're popular, you can't be depressed. How can you be depressed? But it just shows that materialistic things do not define your mental health. It doesn't mean if you've got all those things, you don't have mental health. Of course you do. Again, there was a study done on lottery winners, and it was shown that there was a really high amount of suicides within people that had won the lottery, because they got all this money all of a sudden, all this kind of, it got everything they wanted, and then it was like, well, what do we do now? So that's a really good point. And yeah, that's why we're here, to show that actually it doesn't discriminate. Mental health does not discriminate.
You know what, Rick Spartia, he's a good friend of mine. He pointed out just now.
Yeah.
As we grow up, we're not taught to talk about these things as well. So I think our generation now, like, he's seen his mother go through depression. He's physically seen, such sad times in our life. I do educate him, and I think us moving forward with our children, we need to make them aware. We need to let them know at every point and second we are there for them. In the feelings, with our, the older generation. Let's try to educate them. How much we'll go through, I don't know. But again, like yourself, Ash, you're very fortunate and very lucky that you have parents who were there for you. But we do need to, we need to start talking openly. That's what we need to do. Everybody, in our culture, we need to, being depressed doesn't mean you're a bad person. And that's what we think.
Yeah, absolutely. Or a weak person.
Weak, bad, because I'm feeling like this. I'm not going to talk to anybody about it, because this is not good.
Yes, absolutely. And a male friend of mine, when he was going through depression, he used to always get like, come on, man up, man up. But these statements can really affect a person? You know, let's think about our language. Again, we're going back to stereotypical kind of roles that men and women should have in society, but actually these words are so hurtful at times that people don't realize that these words, these kind of ways that we tend to treat people can often be one of the reasons that they're in that state in the first place, because we're not accepting that actually they're not okay. To us, you know, we might think, oh, they're being weak, but actually they're not being weak. They're trying to express, they're trying to reach out for help, basically.
And you know what, Ash, another thing I just realized, I saw Dave from Singapore, he's just messaged.
Right.
Is somebody of when I was going through depression, because he was a dedicated follower and fan, I think he realized I was going through depression.
Oh, wow.
Yours. I want to really thank Dave. And again, this is, you know, coming from a person who was just ready to take their life. Dave was a fan who helped me get through. So
oh my God, that's amazing.
The guy was just like constantly every day checking on me via Facebook, via, you know, social media platforms. Hey, Nindy, thinking about you. Are you okay? And everything. If he wasn't there as well, you know, I don't know what I'd do. And I have to be very thankful for having such amazing fans. And again, it comes back to if you're an influencer, if you're in the public eye, your fans help you as well.
Oh, wow. Big up, Dave. Big up, Dave. That's amazing. That's such a good point. Actually, I never even thought of that in terms of actually fan bases can actually be a platform for celebrities and influencers to actually help them. That's, yeah, I've never ever thought about it like that. So again, thanks. That's something new. And I think, again, you know, fans, be kind. Like, look at you, Dave. You've actually helped and supported, you know, somebody that, you know, you don't even know, but you do know now, because obviously you've been able to help them in such an amazing way. That's such a beautiful thing to do. So thank you. I'm conscious of time. We're nearly out of our hour. It went quite quick for me anyway.
You talk about a lot, and you know, I'm really thankful for all the fans that have engaged today. Sorry, me and Ash can't, you know, not being able to personally reply to everybody. But you know what? Messages, we need to talk. We all need to talk.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And again, I know I've said it a few times in here, mental health does not discriminate. Whether you're rich, you're poor, you're celebrity, you're not. But what we can do to make a change and support each other is to be kind. If you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say it. And, you know, I've heard this saying from when I was a child. So, you know, we really need to embrace that everybody is on different journeys, and we need to accept that, you know, we can't dictate to people how we think they should be living, but what we can do is be kind and listen and help them with their struggles along that journey. Last word from you, Nindy Kaur. What would you like to say in terms of next steps? What do you think we can do as, you know, a community, as people, to help and support people that are around us that may be finding difficulties?
I think, again, I'm going to come back to, you know, from my experience,
Yeah.
you need to talk to people that you know are going to be there for you. They're going to listen to you. They're going to hear you out, and they're going to help you. Because when you need to reach out. You're not bothering anybody. You're not, you know, disrupting someone's whatever daily routine. You need to reach out to people who are going to help you. If you are feeling suicidal, down, there are many helplines locally in your countries that can help you. You know, if you can't, you need to talk about it. You need to get it out of here. And it needs to be, if you need help, you can say, there's nothing wrong in saying help.
Absolutely, agreed. And again, you know, I am a coach, so if anybody needs any extra support, you can always reach out.
He's always available, and please do follow her on Toure, and your other one is Ash Toure.
Yes. Absolutely, it is. So, we're always here. Reach out, and, we're always here to support. So thank you very, very much, Nindy. I am so...
A really big part as well, helping me. So guys, if
Oh.
I something, I always ring Ash up. Ash, I need help, and she's always. If any of you guys do need to talk about any of the stuff you're going through in life, Ash is available, and she's one of the best life coaches.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And like I said, I know we have various different relationships, but the one that I value the most is our friendship, and I will always be there for you. And the countdown is on now, so we've got 20 seconds. So thank you everybody for joining us, and hopefully this is the first of many.
Yeah, 100%. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. Love you too. Take care. Bye, everybody. Same time next week. Bye. Thank you, guys.